Welcome, Power Rangers, to Geek Salad's Hangout Retro Review from the Geek Salad Podcast. I'm Andy.
And I'm Mike.
And we are continuing our conversation that we started last week on high-profile box office failures.
Yeah.
Last week, we touched on one of my favorites, 1984's Dune. Mike, you want to tell us what we're in store for tonight?
Yeah, today we're doing the newest movie that we've ever actually reviewed on this channel so far.
And that is 15 videos. Amazing.
Yeah, that is 2017's Power Rangers.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna lead off, Mike, because I had just watched it for the first time this weekend. Why are we talking about this one?
Because I love it very, very much. I thought it was a fantastic movie. I thought it was far better than the box office returns made it out to be.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I really don't know where I want to get into this. You look so happy right now. I feel that this movie is very well intentioned.
Okay, that's actually better than I was expecting out of you. So.
I don't feel that there was the intention to make a quality Power Rangers movie. Now keep in mind, I was like a junior in college when Power Rangers made it big, so it really wasn't for me to begin with. However, I feel that what they did was they took a lot of modern filmmaking archetypes and jammed them into this movie about colorful superheroes that do a lot of kicky flips and dudes in monster outfits smashing small coastal towns. I felt they might have taken this a little too seriously.
I actually thought the serious tone benefited it.
All right. Let me just preface this with this movie is 2 hours and 4 minutes long.
Yeah.
It could have been 90 minutes and gotten the point across much better, I think.
I think there are some things that you could have cut out, but in general, I thought it was a decent time, mainly because most of the character development went to the kids, and I thought they were definitely the strongest point of the movie.
Okay. I felt, and I apologize if my voice just got like louder. I just realized I hadn't had my microphone plugged in, so I was going off the onboard microphone of my Chromebook. So, I felt certain characters had better development than others.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. But
right. Zach was non-existent. There was a point when they actually became Power Rangers where I'm like, what has Zach done the entire time?
I think, well, I mean, definitely like Zach and I think Trini were definitely the two that were given least amount of development. But I do think that they were given enough that you could see where they could going and could be going if they ever decided to do a sequel, which they probably will not, sadly.
Right.
I'm sad about that.
Well, with that said, I mean, do you think it was wise for them to try to be like, well, we'll dot those I's come sequel time? Especially when it comes to, you've got 5 major characters in this movie, and you really only focused on 3. Honestly, 2. I think Billy and was it Jason?
Yeah.
Those 2, I knew where they were coming from. I knew Billy especially. I think they did a fantastic job with Billy. He's definitely the most sympathetic. He's also definitely the one that needs it the most, I think.
Well, I mean, they definitely made him out to be the heart of the team, without a doubt.
But Pink Ranger, who I kept referring to as Girl throughout the movie because I couldn't remember her name because it wasn't important, apparently.
Kimberly Hart.
Kimberly. I felt like her arc was forced so late in the movie.
Well, I mean, they kind of like they built to it. I mean, with with the cheerleaders, coming after her in the beginning, and
Right.
then this just you could see there was something that she had hidden inside of her that didn't come out until the end.
Right, but it was like that was in the first 5 minutes of the movie, and then they went another hour and a half before they were like, "Oh, by the way, pictures, her dad, embarrassment."
But
That's a long stretch without any real development other than girl.
I don't know. I think there were a couple of scenes that you might have like glossed over or
You
missed
know, I watched the whole
earlier.
thing.
I know.
I actually, I didn't have to bribe my son so much to watch it. He enjoyed the action scenes, but was kind of like wandering around during anything having to do with anything not fight related.
Well,
I had
I
to
mean,
bribe my daughter with Mystery Science Theater shorts to watch it. So it was like, okay, listen, if you watch this with me and give me your honest answer, I'll let you watch Mystery Science Theater shorts when I put Jamie to bed.
well,
And she did.
I know your kids, and that's kind of what I would expect. I've expected from them. So
Yeah.
this is definitely not the kind of movie for Scarlett. And I mean, Jamie's his attention span is kind of at the action points right now.
Right. But with Scarlett, I mean, Scarlett is now used to, she's now a Marvel kid. She loves the MCU. She loves what they bring to the table. And Power Rangers tries to do that in a way that's just when it succeeds, it does succeed. There were certain aspects of the Power Rangers themselves, I think, worked really, really well. I did enjoy the training montage. I'll tell you straight up, Alpha 5 could have killed this
Oh
in
yeah,
the
Bill
good way
Hader.
of killing it or the bad way of killing it. And I think he's what would happen with him is he would pull away from it being really, really awful into being something pretty good. But on the whole, I kind of feel like this movie was like when you're getting to the verge, when you're hitting that bubble where you're going to burst that bubble of this is going to be pretty good, they just never push it just far enough. It's always on the fence with me. This movie is I don't hate this movie. I'm very on the fence about this movie. The introduction of the Power Rangers when the Zords.
Yeah.
3 seconds of the Power Rangers theme, and I'm like, what is this, a parody?
I understand why they had the music in there, but I thought they would have used it a little bit more personally.
I would have probably enjoyed the last act of that movie had I not felt like there was a lot of fan service just being thrown in at the very end.
Well, I mean, that's where they kind of like built their load to.
Right.
I personally, my favorite scene in the movie is them sitting around the fire talking. I thought
Okay.
that scene was it was just a quiet moment, but it was pure character development. It was them just kind of unite for the first time, kind of uniting as a team.
Right. Well, it's like they talk about with Suicide Squad. The one good scene that nobody will knock on Suicide Squad is the bar scene.
I agree. That's my favorite scene in that movie.
And that's the thing with that. It does take it. I'll give them credit for stepping back and just taking a moment to breathe and talk about that. Now, with that said, I could have easily done without a half hour of the other stuff that that they have to entertain in their daily lives. I was a little like, now call me crazy. I think that casting Bryan Cranston in anything is always a good thing, but I felt like for Zordon, was that his name?
Yeah.
It was stunt casting in the worst possible type of stunt casting.
Well, it in a sense it wasn't stunt casting. It was actually nostalgia casting because oddly enough, Bryan Cranston got his start in Power Rangers.
Did he?
Why do you think Billy Cranston's name even in the original series was Billy Cranston? Because Bryan Cranston was actually I think he did some of the voices and he was behind the scenes a lot in the
Okay.
original Mighty Morphin Power
All right.
Rangers.
That I did not know.
Yeah. And I liked the fact that because in the original series, Zordon was always just like this almost like quasi omniscient, just mentor figure. And
Yeah.
here he actually had like he was actually he wasn't a purely good person. There was he definitely had a selfish streak in him that he had to get past.
Well, the result, and I'm sorry if I'm spoiling this for anybody. Please zip ahead if I am. But the reveal that the only reason why he's resurrecting the Power Rangers is so he can come back to life and defeat Rita on his own.
Yeah.
Um.
Speaking of Rita.
Speaking of Rita, okay. If I hadn't already known in advance that Rita Repulsa was being played by
Elizabeth Banks,
Elizabeth Banks, I could have swore it was Kate McKinnon. Really, it was hammy.
Yeah.
To a degree, I would have much rather have been Kate McKinnon. The other thing too with this is that they took this character in a weird place. I mean, the original Rita Repulsa is just essentially just this screaming ninny on the moon with her giant, her giant spyglass and all those big scary dudes hanging out with her, and to turn her essentially into like a hobo killer. And
that was, as much as I love this movie, that Elizabeth Banks as Rita was definitely the weakest part of it. I thought she was overacting something fierce. It felt like she was in a completely different movie than everyone else. I mean, when she was like actually had the Rangers tied up and torturing them, I thought that was a pretty intense scene. But I mean, I wanted her to pull back several notches,
right,
and actually act as taking it as serious as everyone else in the movie seemed to be doing.
Right. I mean, she was hitting like Schumacher levels of Batman villainy.
Yeah.
And it was incredibly off-putting.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of one scene with Rita that really, not only did it rub me the wrong way, it was like one of those hey type of scenes, was when she goes to Trini while she's asleep and throws her around the room. Nobody heard that? I mean, they're showing Trini at the end of the movie, like patching up all the holes that were, her body shaped. And
yeah, okay. Granted, that's a plot convenience right there.
Yeah,
it didn't. Honestly, I never really noticed it until you pointed it out just now.
Okay.
Thank you for ruining that scene. I thought it was actually a fun scene. So.
Okay. I thought it was a dream at first, quite honestly, and then, and when she shows up, she's like, Rita came to him, like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a great way of showing exactly how powerful she was.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I thought it was a great way of showing how powerful she was when she merged into the Goldar. The Goldar was actually a cool effect, and after my limited viewing of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Goldar it was nice to see something that wasn't just dude in suit.
Yeah. Well, I gotta admit I did miss, because from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Goldar was always my favorite henchman of Rita's, because I mean he was like a cross between a wolf and a gorilla. I thought that was really cool. A giant thing of gold is pretty cool too.
I also enjoyed too when they finally got into Megazord. They had difficulty walking because they didn't realize how to control the thing.
Yeah.
That was fun. I mean, all in all, there were some interesting things in here. It was a little too YA and teenage angsty for what is essentially, let's be honest, a vehicle to sell toys.
I thought Dean Israelite actually kind of was actually pushing it into something where it was a little bit more artistic than just something to sell toys. I mean, the actual Power Rangers on TV, that's there to sell toys.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
and also I welcome that because I remember the last time I've actually watched anything with Power Rangers. We're on vacation, and my nephew had this Power Rangers DVD, and it was like a full season's worth of the new Power Rangers, and they put it on, and Zordon's talking to them, and he's like, "You need to collect these 5 items," and I'm like, "Yep, here comes the hard sell."
yeah, yeah. Um, and even some of the original Japanese Sentai, which I have seen some, and I do actually enjoy some because it's much deeper and darker than the American counterpoint. Um, there's a lot of toy selling in that one as well.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I felt that this one, yeah, granted, there's some toy selling, but I thought the characters were solid enough and 3-dimensional enough for the most part to make them a little bit more than just that.
Okay. All right. And again, I think it's because I don't have the emotional investment in these characters that maybe you did.
Yeah.
You were like, I'm just doing the math in my head. You were like 15 when this.
Yeah, 14, 15, yeah, somewhere around there.
When this hit, yeah.
Yeah.
So I can understand you being more into it than me. I was 21.
Yeah, that's probably a little bit past the age range they were aiming for.
Right. Because, excuse me, I'm not a huge. I've just never been super into Japanese flippy
Yeah,
flippies.
yeah.
There's no other way to put it because I actually enjoy kung fu movies and I do enjoy Godzilla movies, but this hybrid,
yeah,
Japanese children's television, I should say.
I still think you should watch My Hero Academia. It is such a great anime.
I know. There's plenty of stuff I need to watch that I have no time to watch.
Yeah.
What do you
First season, right there.
I know.
I can let you borrow it if you want.
Oh, I'm echoing.
Yeah, I know. That was because my headphones popped out.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, on the whole, I would give out of 5-star rating. I give this about 2.5 stars. It wasn't bad. It wasn't awful. I mean, I don't feel like I lost 2.5 hours, or 2 hours of my day watching it. I don't need to watch it again.
Yeah, I'd probably give it 4 stars.
Okay.
I really enjoy this movie.
Right.
It's not Citizen Kane. It's not, it's not the next big thing, but
right. No, but I think that what they were attempting was trying to build Lionsgate was trying to get their own type of expanded universe franchise, and
I think they were just trying to take the Power Rangers brand and give it a kind of a serious take that it had never been given before.
Right.
And I thought for that, I thought it did a fine job.
I'll be interested in seeing how this one holds up in like 5 to 10 years, if it's thought upon as highly, even as like a guilty pleasure.
I'm actually a little bit more interested in seeing where they go next with Power Rangers in film because I think Hasbro owns the rights now.
Yeah,
and from what I hear, they're trying. The rumor is that they're trying to build this giant, like Transformers, GI Joe, Rom the Space Knight, Micronauts, Power Rangers. They're trying to build this giant kind of conglomeration, and I'm not sure exactly how that's gonna work.
Badly. That's how it's gonna work. It's gonna work badly.
I mean, oddly enough, I could see how Power Rangers and Transformers could interact because the Zords are essentially Transformers without the sentience.
Exactly. Yeah, and thinking about stuff like, you mentioned Rom, Space Knight, and Micronauts. First of all, I think that while Hasbro put out the toys, the actual comics rights are owned by Marvel. Or at least the character rights, I believe, are maybe owned by Marvel.
For the Micronauts, maybe, but not Rom the Space Knight. No, that's that whole that's a whole legal battle that I think. Yeah, I don't think Marvel has got Rom.
Right. And if they do get Rom, they get the dire wraiths, and that's your next big alien villain. And that is something Marvel, I think, would do a lot better than what Paramount can do.
You're probably not wrong with that.
Right.
But I'm still interested in seeing where Paramount wants to go with this, because it's a grandiose plan that seems very hazy at the moment.
Yeah, man. I don't know. There's a word I'm thinking about right now. I just can't put my Dark Universe finger on it to tell you what it could be.
I see what you did there.
That's right. So, yeah, maybe we'll revisit this in 5 years and see how well it stands up. Because, I mean, it's almost like, we're talking about a movie that's a year and a half old. Last week we talked about a movie that is 35 years old.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see how it
Yeah.
So next week we're gonna start something new. We're still doing the retro reviews, but it's Oscar season.
Yeah. We're about a month and a half out of Oscars.
We're about a month away from them. I think we'll be 4 weeks out. Starting next week.
Okay.
So we're 5 weeks out now then. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna be reviewing some of our favorite Best Picture winners and ones that both Mike and I have mutually seen.
Which means I need to get around to watching a couple.
There are two.
Okay.
Based on our discussion, there are two.
Okay.
So I believe next week we're starting with Casablanca, right?
One of my all-time favorite movies.
We're going to go in chronological. It just makes more sense to do it that way.
Yeah.
So we'll be discussing. I love Casablanca as well, but we'll get into that next week. So no spoilers here. So anyway, we Mike and I host a little podcast called Geek Salad, which you can find the audio stream right here on YouTube. We have fresh content coming up every 3 weeks for the podcast or so. It's about three or 4 weeks.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah.
So if you subscribe, you'll get all of our latest stuff. Don't forget to also like this video and comment below. What did you think about Power Rangers? Did you like it? Did you not like it? You just go to under below. Also, check out the audio stream for our podcast, which is at geeksalad.podbean.com. You can find that also on the Stitcher app, iTunes, at Spotify, and at Google Music. And like I said here, and we have we have lots of fresh episodes coming up this year. We've already had a wealth of discussioning.
Oh yes,
for episodes for this year, so it'll definitely be a fun year. We're going to be doing more theme months like this as well. We did Box Office Bombs. We'll be doing Oscars. We're going to be doing Star Wars. We've got a lot.
Yes, we do.
So yeah. So anyway, until next time, I'm Andy.
And I'm Mike.
Go forth and be nerdful. We'll talk to you later.
May the power protect you.